Hi, and welcome to the Daily Streak. I'm Steve DeBerry.
And I'm Jake Craney. It is May 29th, so that means if you're joining us today, you're probably trying to improve on your record, maybe trying to beat the messenger, or possibly in your own side pool with your friends. In any case, welcome. Let's get right down to it. Another tennis prop early this morning at the French Open first round. We've got Rafael Nadal against Simone Bolelli from Italy. Another one of those 6 games or less, 7 games or more props. What do you think for this one, Steve?
Yeah, it's very similar to yesterday's. We all know Rafael Nadal's reputation on clay. It's a very good one. Bolelli has not played well this year against pretty subpar competition. So if you put those two together, you're looking at 6 games or less. But hold on, because I was waiting for it. I did some research. Out of the last 5 years that Nadal has played in the French Open, only one of those matches actually was 6 games or less than the first round. And that was right at the 6-game mark. So, and if you look at all the matches overall, it doesn't happen very often, as good as he is on clay, where he keeps anyone at the French Open under 6 games. So, the pick here for me, and I'm going with is the 7 games or more, just like yesterday.
Okay. Like you alluded to, Rafa is perhaps the greatest clay court player that's ever lived. So it's going to be tough to pick against him because you know he's not going to lose the match.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of how badly will he beat this guy. These two have played twice, both on hard court, but Bolelli actually took a set off of Nadal a couple years ago on hard. You don't know if that was in Rafa's knee injury period or whatever. But you just can't pick 6 or less. You can't do it. This guy, you know, if he gives up 7, it's still a very comfortable win for Nadal. This guy recently took a set off of Gilles Muller, who's a very good player. This guy lives in Spain, so you know he's very comfortable on clay. You got to take 7 or more. Take the gift again in the morning and get that done.
Yep. All right, let's move on to the next prop we're going to talk about today, which is a baseball prop. It's Verlander, first inning prop, which ESPN likes to do with the games that are featured on their network. It's 1 strikeout in the first inning versus any other number. What do you like here, Jake?
Interesting prop, because this is usually will so-and-so get a strikeout, but since it's Verlander, one of the best pitchers in the league, you kind of assume that he's going to get a strikeout. But there are just too many variables. There are too many variables. Verlander could easily strike out the side. He could easily strike out 2 of these. He could also just as easily get a couple of ground balls and a fly out and get 0. To pinpoint it on 1 strikeout, I think, you know, I don't see it quite 50-50. I think it leans a little bit more toward being any other number.
Yeah, I agree with you there. He's averaging exactly 1 strikeout per inning. 75.1 innings pitched. 75 1/3, whatever it may be, and 75 strikeouts.
Wow.
But you don't get to an average by pitching a strikeout every inning.
Right.
It goes up and down. Some innings you have none. In the first inning, usually it favors the pitcher because it's their first time seeing him, like we've talked about on the show, so he could get more, could get less. There's just way too many variables to go with 1 strikeout. Could it happen? Very well could happen. He'll be pitching against Dustin Pedroia, who's 0-13 lifetime against him with only 2 strikeouts though. Okay? He'll be going against David Ortiz, who's a strikeout machine. So he could get 2, he could get 3, he could get 0, or it could be all groundouts, that type of thing. I'm going with the any other result. I wouldn't put a very large streak on this, but if you're 3, 4, 5 at this point in the month and you're trying to win your group that's maybe the leaders at 8 or 9, this is something, a quick hitter that you can get in there and feel pretty comfortable about your chances if you go with any other result.
2 agreements so far. Let's get to a basketball prop because this one's going to be interesting. We've got Game 2 of the Thunder Spurs. Game 1 was entertaining, close up until the last couple minutes. And the prop tonight is James Harden field goals made versus the Spurs winning margin. The Spurs winning margin has the tie option.
Well, you know me, I'm very high on the Spurs.
I know. It's hard not to be.
It is hard not to be. They're on a W-19. They're 4 games away from getting the stash, but the month's going to run out.
They don't need the stash.
They won't get there. But they figured out I think a lot about the Thunder late in that game. And the second half of the third quarter into the fourth quarter, you saw a pretty dominant Spurs team running a lot of set plays, getting very open for a lot of layups, and I think that's going to continue into this game tonight. James Harden made 7 field goals in the first game. I don't expect that to continue. I think he made 5 threes maybe, possibly. Could be wrong there, but yeah, he made a lot of field goals in the first game. I expect it to be closer to 5 in this game. So do I think the Spurs are going to win by at least 5? The answer is yes. I'm going Spurs here.
It's hard not to pick against the Spurs. They're just barreling through everybody. I think they finally found an opponent in the Thunder who can stay with them, if not take a couple games from them. And I think the Thunder also realize not only are they right there with the Spurs, but the Spurs are so disciplined and talented that if they go down 2-0, it might be a death sentence with the home court in the Spurs' favor. So I think they come out and Harden, I don't know if he's going to get 7 like you said. I would also expect it to be more around 5. But I really feel like the Thunder are going to throw everything at the Spurs that they have. The Spurs have to lose a game at some point. I don't know if it's going to be tonight, but I expect it to be very, very close. So you throw in Harden getting a handful of field goals, I'm going to take the Thunder.
I don't agree with you that they have to lose at some point. I can very well see them sweeping the Thunder and then going to the NBA championship and their depth beating the Heat.
They're amazing, but these teams are so even. This is not going to be a 4-game series.
We'll see.
I think this is going to be a 6 or 7 game series.
We will see.
Yes, we will.
All right, let's move on to our last matchup of the day. It's the New York Yankees at the Los Angeles Angels. The Angels finding their form as of late. What do you like here, Jake?
Well, I'm wearing my Angels colored shirt for a reason. They are finding their form. They recently swept the Mariners. Pujols is getting hot. He's ripping off homers. Trumbo's finding his bat. The pitching staff is starting to live up to their billing, including Dan Herron, who started off shaky but pitched really, really well his last time out. And Herron's going against Pettit tonight. Pettit has only pitched 3 games so far. He got really knocked around in his first start, pitched a shutout in his second start, and then pitched pretty well in his third start. But this guy's almost 40, Steve. He is going to get knocked around. He's a man.
He's 40.
He's going to get knocked around by the Angels. They are finding their offense, they're finding their confidence, and they're stringing together wins. I'm taking the Halos.
That is a homer pick if I've ever heard it, folks. Herron has been average this year. He's a great pitcher, but he has been average.
Until the last game?
Last game. He's got about 8 games of data. I'm not just going to single out that one.
Okay.
He's pitching 2-5 this year with a 3.76 ERA. The Yankees are finding their form. They've been outstanding in their last 6 games. I believe 5-1 or 6-0. So they're hot. And the problem with the Yankees prior to this recent 5-game winning streak was that they weren't hitting. They're hitting now. Pettit is only getting better. I know he's 40, but he took a lot of time off before he came back. So I like the Yankees here. All right, well, let's move on to Charles's pick of the day. And we also got locks after that. Stay tuned. Charlie. Rough one yesterday. His Estonians took one on the chin, losing in a rout fashion against Ukraine.
Terrible.
But he's looking to bounce back today. Jake, what will Charles Craney be picking?
Charles will be picking between the Diamondbacks and the Giants in San Francisco. Charlie, what do you think for this one?
There it is, folks. Charles, born and raised in California, going with the home state team, the San Francisco Giants. Good luck, buddy. We'll be right back with our locks of the day. We have now reached our final portion of the show for today. Our locks of the day. As usual, we're going to start with Chris. No soccer on the slate today, so Chris can't lock in a soccer game, which might be a good thing because the Scion pick didn't work out too well yesterday.
It's all right.
But Chris is going with the tennis, which we both like. He's going 7 games or more in the Nadal-Vallely match, so it's a good pick.
Should be good there.
Jake, what are you locking in?
I'm locking in the Oakland A's beating the Twins up in Minnesota. You'd think I would have learned my lesson locking in baseball teams that are under 500, but I am not. I'm locking in the A's with Jared Parker. Aside from one bad start, Parker has been an absolute stud this year. Twins are going with Cole DeVries in his second major league start, and his first one did not go well. I'm looking for the A's to pound the Twins tonight.
All right, well, hopefully you learn your lesson by June when everyone gets a clean slate. That's what we're hoping.
We'll see.
I'm also locking in baseball, but these teams are over 500, I believe. At least I know the Tigers are. Tigers at the Red Sox. I'm going with the Tigers in Verlander. They lost yesterday, 7-4. I believe that I just don't see them drop 2 in a row, especially with Verlander on the mound. So Tigers are my pick of the day.
All right, I like that pick as well. We will see you guys tomorrow for our Wednesday daily streak. Have a good day.
Take care.